Demos. A great way to get some game time, even if you're broke and struggling. Sadly, they no longer come on disc or in magazines, but they do still exist on Steam. So today, we're taking a look at some good, some bad, and hopefully one or two you'd like to try out at some point.
Let's do this.
You know, I like Souls-like games. Not the From Software games or the melee-focused ones that require the reflexes of a cat on acid, but I do generally enjoy trying them and at least give them a college try. This one though, I actually like it. The style is an immediate point in favor. I like the PlayStation 1 look. It reminds me of simpler times before I learned why Dad went to get milk and never came back. It also runs amazingly. I didn't experience a single crash or stutter the entire time. This game could probably run on your laptop with no issues. Sure, it's taking quite a bit of inspiration from Bloodborne, with narrow streets filled with mad people, religious zealots, and your local American, to giant cathedrals and a bloody red moon looking at all. It even has a whip. It also has immersive sim elements, like the Deus Ex series. If you're creative, you can run on the rooftops, avoiding the enemies down below, or even unlocking entire areas before you're technically supposed to. I never figured out how to reach this area the normal way, but it doesn't matter, because I can hop this fence with the power of airbending. Like, yeah, I'm not playing the game the way I should be, but who cares? It's fun. There aren't puzzles in the way you'd expect, but a little creativity makes your life a whole lot easier. The gameplay itself is great too. You can't parry your enemies given the fact that you're a bug man with very weak arms, but you can jump and use guns. Jumping out the way is your primary method of avoiding attacks, with your gun used to detonate barrels or hitting your enemies at their weakest. Your legs, meanwhile, are where you spend all the time in the gym, as you can kick heavy boxes around and into your enemies like you're a messiah. Augmented by magic and any explosives you can buy or loot. You pretty quickly become a wrecking ball of lower level enemies. And most of these guys telegraph their attacks, are predictable, and aren't sponges for damage. But being careless is a one-way ticket to a restart, as your health stays the same unless you upgrade at the magic tree. No armor or shields with dozens of interlocking perks and effects here. Just a handful of weapons, your feet, and willpower. The character designs are also pretty good. I'm not inherently disgusted by this person's existence, unlike its real-life counterpart. Put together some very interesting enemy designs, likable characters, and bugs that don't make me want to jump into a meat grinder, and you got a winner. Take it for a spin if you're even vaguely interested in this type of game. You might like it. Despite character models looking like toys you'd find in a discount bin at CVS, and the voice acting clearly just being the developer or one of their friends in a garage, I really like this game. It stars a baseball player who may or may not be a time traveler, gunning down little green aliens and Men in Black agents because they interrupted his third strikeout. Remember when baseball used to be a popular American game? Me too. It's short, to be sure, but it's charming, and the weapon and enemy design is actually very solid. More than you'd ever expect just by looking at the cover art. It also has a very small install size, and runs very smoothly. Although if it didn't, I would question what assets the game is hiding to all that. The vibe is just chill in a way I don't know how to explain well. Like running around in a world of those water soaker toy guns you stared at when you were a broke kid, whose mom didn't even like Nerf guns. Not magical by any means, but definitely soothing. Somehow. I look forward to seeing how this project ends up. Fly high, David Valeries. I like what you're cooking. It may not be a blockbuster, but it doesn't need to be big to be enjoyable. Holy macaroni and cheese, this game frickin' sucks. Where'd even start with this trash? Okay. I feel bad calling it trash, because making an even somewhat working game is an achievement. But bloody hell, it looks bad. It's trying for a cartoony aesthetic, but it has almost no style. Pistol is cartoony, the characters have exclamation points above their head, the zombies look plain, and the map itself looks like it was bought out of an online asset store. And it runs like a fat kid who thinks they're an Olympic athlete because their boobs look a little smaller in the mirror that morning. Like, I respect the effort, but absolutely nothing else. Multiple times, often at the start but sometimes mid-round, the game would freeze and have a seizure. This game has no right to run this badly, not with so little going on. One map, one objective. Run around and watch some NPCs go up a building to a helicopter. Do this and repeat until you can buy some mid-music and a Thompson. And there aren't any unique enemy types either. It's just a zombie running or walking towards you. Only good thing I can say is that it technically works. It doesn't run well, it doesn't look good, and it's not a good game on top of all that. If games are a sandwich, this one at least has bread. I guess. Do you want a Western roguelike that is still in active development, has a decent amount of enemies who always charge at you without fail, and aim assist that treats you like a cripple? Well, good news. There's exactly one game around that does this. Meet Soulslinger. It's not the best looking game, to be sure, and it isn't nearly as good as Witchfire. But Witchfire costs $40 and doesn't have a free demo. So Soulslinger wins in that regard. It's got some good points as well. The guns are appropriately crunchy, and I do appreciate that almost every time you die, you get a brief conversation with the other NPCs, which at the moment consist of capital D, Death, and this random girl who does her own version of Purging the Dead. I don't know what her deal is. The story really isn't too much to talk about. You're an average dude who died in a t-shirt and jeans, and now fights for Death in the hopes he can find his long-lost love again. About all there is to it. If you're looking for a deep story, this ain't it, Chief. The real meat of the game is its roguelike bones. Every few runs you can get enough points to upgrade yourself permanently, and you get rewarded for discovering enemies and defeating them in the bestiary. But during the run itself, these don't seem to matter very much. You see, during the run you can gain abilities or perks that make it a cakewalk on your first try. Bullets that explode, shooting lightning like Emperor Palpatine, or my favorite, poison gas. There are some minor technical issues, namely that the loading screens are schizophrenic, and there isn't a different environment besides tumbleweed western towns and Mountain Temple, but there's definitely a few hours of fun here, and I'd recommend you check it out if you like westerns in general. It may be worth your time. Oh, this one is gonna make me feel bad. Look, I like Portugal, and I like their food even more. But they aren't exactly known for their great video games, and sadly that continues here. Delic is a work in progress that I have mixed feelings for, like my ex. On one hand, I don't understand what the hell the characters are saying. No subtitles, despite the fact they can read multiple letters in perfect English, and the menu has a bar for which language you'd prefer. The game has a Dark Souls-like dodge, but no crazy bosses, and a letter in-game that hints at aliens and UFOs causing all the ruckus. Which, to be honest, is one of the more unique ideas for a zombie game. But then the game itself is a weird mix of being stock Unreal jank that is scammer made in an hour, combined with actual effort in the layout and how you progress, with very clear inspiration from the RE4 remake. Going through the demo was a chore, yeah, but I see where this game could go. The enemies have too much health. I more than once got lost because of how similar everything looked, and the boss fight was impossible to complete because I ran out of ammo. I genuinely like the vibe, the creepy as hell boss design, the feeling where I'm walking around an abandoned town and hear nothing, and then a long casual whistle that makes my hair stand up straight. Seriously, that scared me to my core. At the end of the day, it's just a standard Unreal Engine game that I wish could be better, but I'm not sure the guys making it have the resources or time to make it so. Honestly, it's a real shame. When I first started this demo out, I was thinking it was going to be a slice of life game. Some puzzle solving and some light flirting between over-designed characters, maybe with some spooky scares added in. Imagine my surprise when this fucker came out of nowhere and gave me a heart attack. Okay, let's start from the top. Sorry We're Closed is an old-school Resident Evil-style game with tank controls and a dash of dimension hopping, with clear inspiration from Silent Hill in the environment. I mean, those guys are not having a good time. The mechanic that makes it unique is your third eye, allowing you to make the area around you revert to its original state years before, as well as making strong memories reality and showing you weaknesses on these guys. It's also full of style, and the characters have lots of charm. I mean, the main bad guy, girl, whatever that thing is basically a Slanesh demon. And anyone who knows Warhammer lore already knows where this is going. It even has the freaking claw arm. There is nothing more to say. And have you ever had your gun get scared and refuse to fire? This is the first time I have ever seen this. And to be honest, with this fucker, I can't blame it. Speaking of weapons, the ones here aren't too crazy, but they get the job done. The axe is mainly used for clearing obstacles, like crates and boxes, while the shotgun is your one-hit wonder. I don't particularly like the design of the guns. I think they're over-designed, but it could be way worse. Remember that. The main character is just a more or less average girl existing. Not really going anywhere but her apartment to sleep, and still thinking about her ex. Coasting through life wishing that special someone would just call or text, but knowing that if you did it, it's a bad idea. I've been there. But then she gets dragged to a demon dimension, and now has to fight to survive. I can't say I relate, unless you count Thanksgiving. The story seems to contain themes of self-reliance, loneliness, and the desire to connect with others. I didn't play it long enough to see where it's going, but I'm definitely interested. Oh, and did I mention that the game is gay as hell? Look at how these characters dress. There is no straight explanation for this. So imagine my surprise that the game actually plays well, and has good combat, puzzles that don't require a PhD or negative brain cells to understand. Check it out. As someone not really into RE type games, I found this to be an enjoyable and sometimes really scary experience. I never needed to search up a guide and things actually made sense. 10/10, would recommend. Alright, and that's all folks. Court is adjourned. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Stay cool folks, and see you next time.